So the marathon taper can be our best friend or it can be our worst enemy, and sometimes the process of it all can be a little bit of a mystery. Now the goal of the marathon taper is to get to the race start line as fresh and ready as possible, not overtrained and not too undertrained. Just finding that sweet spot can be a challenge, but hopefully today's video will help you with some things not to do during your marathon training taper. What is up guys, Andy Forrestine Runner here. Welcome back to another video, and today I'm sharing with you guys 5 things of what not to do during your marathon taper. So I've had my fair share of marathon tapers during the years and tapers for other distances, and what I've learned is to eliminate factors from the taper that can likely make things go wrong. Ultimately, we can have tapers that go well and bad races, and tapers that go terribly and great races. These things happen, they've happened to me, and I'm sure they've happened to you. But if we do our best to make sure we have the best taper possible, then we are more than likely to be at the start line, ready to go and have our best race. So what I want to do today is share with you guys the things that I've eliminated during the years and the things that I do to hopefully get me to the start line and hopefully get you guys to the start line in as best shape possible. If you're excited for today's video guys, make sure you give it a like, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel for weekly running content, and let's kickstart the list. So cutting out intensity is something I want to warn you guys of, and something I see so much of but really isn't the best thing to do. What we want to do is effectively keep the engine revved, but we're just decreasing the load as we go through the taper. I see it so often, and for me, I'm guilty of that in the first couple of years of running when I didn't understand. I assumed a taper was just to cut back and just relax and chill out and take away all of the intensity, and I spent a couple of my marathon tapers doing just easy running and a few surges in there, and that was it. And I tell you what it did to me, it ended up leading me to a start line where I felt extremely sluggish. Effectively, as I just alluded to, in the taper we want to just decrease the load overall. Let me give you an example, something I've done on a couple of previous tapers and something I'm doing in this taper. When I was doing full marathon training a couple of weeks ago, a lot of my easy and moderate runs were around the 90-minute mark. So in week 1 of the taper, and I'm doing a 3-week marathon taper, I decreased those runs to 80 minutes. This week, as I'm in my second week, I'm decreasing those to 70 minutes, and the final week I will be decreasing them in the first half of the week to 60 minutes, and then towards the tail end it will be more like 45 to 50 minutes. So there's a real gentle decline in the volume that I'm putting in. It's not this kind of build, poof, straight down the other side, completely strip out intensity. The sessions will still be there, the volume will just be coming down slowly. So I do advise, don't cut out the intensity, do keep it in there, just start to dial it back a touch. So changing your routine is something I really want to advise against. It's something that I again have come a cropper of, and something that I feel really strongly about. Despite it not seeming like the biggest thing in the world, for me it is. Our bodies are like clockwork, and they love to work in the same routine if we can keep it. So if you've had a really good solid routine during your marathon training on set days and set times, do consider trying to keep it there. What I've fallen foul of in the past is gone, oh well, I've only got a week to go, I've only got 2 weeks to go, I don't have to get up early for this run, I'll go later on in the afternoon. Now I am a morning runner, I love running in the mornings, I get up and get out the door. If I have to run in the afternoons or the evenings, I'll do it to get my run in, but it's not my preferred time of day. My body doesn't particularly enjoy it, and I do often feel like I'm working harder at certain paces. And more often than not, if I am running in the evening, sometimes my heart rate can be higher at certain paces, just because I might be more fatigued from the day, or just because my body's not used to it. Whatever the reason might be, I find I'm far more efficient in the mornings. Now I've done this, as I said, during a taper. I've gone, sod it, I don't have to get up this morning, I'm going to go out this afternoon, just squeeze in 45-50 minutes, and I felt terrible for it. And what that does mentally is go, oh my gosh, my easy pace that normally feels easy, so no longer feels easy. That was a grind, that was tough, and then you start questioning everything in your head. Now for me, if I can tick the same check boxes that I do during my training in my taper, then I feel so much more settled, I feel so much more just better about everything. My body appreciates it, it just gets to stick to what it normally gets to stick to, and I feel so much better come race day. And tip number 3, and this is a really important one for me, is don't try and tinker or change your race strategy and plans in this late stage. If you're anything like me, you will have been practicing your fueling, your hydration, your race kit, whatever it might be. You would have been practicing it on your long runs or on some of your runs during a marathon training block. I can't remember the amount of times I've practiced in my kit, I've practiced the gel fueling strategy, whatever it might be. I've done it 3, 4, 5 times during this training block just to make sure that I'm comfortable, know what I'm doing, make sure the gels sit in my stomach okay, and make sure the kit is comfortable. If you end up buying new stuff or end up thinking, oh, well, actually, did that work? Should I change it? My strong advice would be don't consider changing it unless something drastically didn't work for you and you didn't have time to change it during the taper, whether that was fueling strategy or whether that was kit. Don't consider changing it at this late stage. You've got it cemented in your head. You know how it went during training. You'll feel more comfortable rocking up to that start line knowing that you believe in what you're wearing, you believe in your fueling, you believe in your hydration, and that is just another worry that you don't need to worry about on race day. So please do consider not changing anything at this late stage. And the fourth thing I want to mention is don't go into what I class as relaxation mode. Just remember this mantra. This is something that I keep telling myself during taper. Every run still has a purpose. What's really common and what I talk to a lot of people about in particular actually is, hey, I've done 12, 14 weeks worth of work. Can I now relax? Can I now just run easy? As I alluded to earlier, taking the intensity out of the training. A lot of people with that comes a relaxation mindset, thinking the work is done, it's there, I'll be fine, I'm just going to run easy for a couple of weeks. And as I've said, I've done this, rocked up to the start line and felt extremely sluggish. Just remember, every run has a purpose. Ingrain that into your mind. Whether it's a workout, you're trying to keep your legs sharp, still feeling fresh, get the biomechanics working as you do when you run faster. If you're easy running, it's just to keep the miles in the legs, keep things ticking along, keep the routine there. If you're moderate running, you're just kind of, as I said, clicking along a little bit faster, keeping it nice and aerobic, but still getting that same stimulus. There's a reason for everything that we do during the taper. Strides are also really important in the final week, and again, that's just to get the leg turnover, get the engine firing. You're trying to keep things at a good level. You're not trying to let everything drop and fall off the face of the earth. Relaxation mode is once you've run the race. It's not during the taper. So again, this is something that I talk to a lot of people about. It's something that I've fallen foul of, and I really recommend you just keep that mindset of every run has a purpose. And the fifth and final thing, and if there's anything you take away from this, it's this particular point, is don't change your diet drastically during taper. Now, if you're anything like me, you have stomach sensitivity, stomach issues, you'll know what you need to cut out in the final week of race day. And in particular, what I find really beneficial for me is to cut out fiber 48 to 72 hours before my race, or just eat very minimal fiber. This just makes sure that there's nothing crazy going on in the stomach. And for me, my sensitivities are gluten, wheat, yeast, all of that stuff. So if I cut all of that out and eat really good, clean, gluten-free food, my stomach is nice and strong on race day. What you often see is people eating out the night before a marathon because it's a good social. And don't get me wrong, a lot of people can do it and that's fine. But if you're anything like me, I'll be taking my own lunch and dinner the night before and breakfast. I won't be risking anything, because if I eat something too oily or if I eat something that's been cooked in a different type of fat, because I'm a vegetarian, often you go to a restaurant and they cook stuff in animal fat, whatever it might be, there's always kind of that risk that if we eat something just before race day that we're not used to, it could all go south, if you know what I mean. Again, I've been there. I've had to use toilets along a route in a marathon before, and it's a horrible, horrible experience. It's not just the fact that you've got to dart into the toilet, it's the fact that you end up usually with stomach cramps, or you end up with shooting pains in your stomach for whatever reason it might be. So a diet change is definitely not recommended. For me, as I said, I approach the final week of taper going, right, I just need to slowly start to cut out any excess gluten that I'm eating, and then the final 48 to 72 hours, just start to cut out the fiber. I know we all have our own diets and we all have our own ways that our stomachs work. Some people can eat anything before a race and be fine. Others really have to be careful. I'm on that level of the spectrum. And as I said, if you keep things things consistent to what you've been doing during training and try things that normally work, that's great. Just don't try anything new leading up to race day. So there we go. Those are my things that I avoid during the marathon taper to hopefully get me to the start line in as best shape possible. But I'd love to hear from you guys as always. Please do drop a comment down below and let me and everyone else know what your marathon taper tips are. And in particular, if you have one that really resonates with you, something I haven't talked about today, please do share it. It would be great to read, and I'm sure everybody else would love to read it too. If we can get that comment section buzzing with some great information, we can all share and help each other. I wish you all the best with your marathon tapers. Obviously, you're watching this video for a reason, so if you are right now deep in a taper, or if you're going to bookmark this video for later down the line, good luck with your tapers. I hope it goes well, and best of luck on race day. If you're interested in any more videos, please do check out the 2 videos on screen now. Hopefully they will be of some use to you, and as always, I appreciate you guys sticking around to the end of the video. If you enjoyed this one, guys, please do give it a like, share it with friends, subscribe to the channel for weekly running content, and as always, I'll see you on the next one. Until then.